Hey guys, welcome back. We are now moving on to lesson 10, section 4. But before we do, let's recap a little bit from what we've learned so far. We know that this lesson is about the rising disagreements between the British, the King of England, and Great Britain, and the colonists. And a lot of this disagreement stems from what happened with the French and Indian War, where Great Britain fought against the French, and with the help of American Indians on both sides, they won that war, where Great Britain claimed a lot of new land, so they were able to win the war with a lot of new lands as their winnings. But along with that came very large debts and unpaid bills. And in order to pay those debts and unpaid bills, the king felt that the colonists should help pay, because it was them that they were fighting for, even though the colonists had never asked for it. So that led to the first Proclamation of 1763 that you read about in section 3. A proclamation is a law that kept the colonists from being allowed to leave the line, or go westward past the line, the imaginary line, past the Appalachian Mountains. They were told that they had to stay within the colonies and were not allowed to move westward to settle. That made the colonists mad, because a lot of them moved in order to be able to explore the New World and settle in some unknown lands. And they also didn't like being told what to do by a king that lives so far away across the ocean in another country. And that leads us to the next law that the king tries to declare and pass on to the colonists, which is called the Quartering Act. Now, to quarter means to house or to give home to something. So the Quartering Act is where the king is going to tell the colonists that they, by law, have to provide a home or a place to live for the British troops that are staying within the colonies. And this makes the colonists very angry, because many of them have only enough room to give themselves a home, let alone supplies that would need to go along with giving a home to soldiers. So they needed to provide space in their own homes. They needed to give the soldiers food and transportation, when a lot of them didn't even want the British soldiers to be living in the colonies to begin with. So this made the colonists very angry. They didn't want to pay for those British troops in the colonies. And therefore, many colonists began to treat soldiers badly. Even though it wasn't the soldiers' fault that the king was ordering this, it was, in fact, the king's fault and the people in the British Parliament. But a lot of the colonists began to take it out on the soldiers who were staying in the colonies to protect the colonists from American Indian attack.